Welcome to Make It Happen. Today, my dear friend, Paige Sorensen is here to talk all about how to up-level your personality and fashion in your professional environments. She's providing 3 tips for men and 3 tips for women, so stay tuned so you can hear the right tips for you. We also have a great question and pick my brain about websites and a few of my favorite things. Welcome to Make It Happen. For today's Pick My Brain question, we are getting something I am really passionate about, but this came into me and the name didn't come in from social media, but it says, how important on a scale from 1 to 10 is having a personal website to drive traffic to? 1 being mandatory, 10 being not important at all. Well, I'm glad that they shared because I typically put number 10 as being the best. So we're going to use my scale, but I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 not at all mandatory, 10 very mandatory. I can't even give you a number, and here's why. Because for most businesses, I would say it's a 10. I'm a huge fan of having a home court advantage. It's one of my broken records that you hear about me on the show. You hear about it in Marketing Blueprint. You have to have your own home court in order to thrive in today's digital marketplace if you're intending to play online. And so for the people who are like, I'm just going to build big on social media, well, that could be gone in a second. And so you have to have your own home court. You have to have your brand. You have to have your content. You have to have information that people can get from you where they're not distracted from a million other things. However, I can't just say that it's an absolute 10 because there are plenty of people who have built businesses without websites and they're doing a phenomenal job. Now, I'm not seeing any corporations build businesses without websites, but I am seeing solo entrepreneurs and small business owners building businesses without websites. I've seen it done in the direct sales space. In fact, I'm pretty sure this question came from someone that's in one of my direct sales companies or contacts. And you don't have to have your own website if you're building through another brand because they have a website for you. That said, you're being usurped by that brand. And so if you want to do something different, I'm going to recommend that you create your own website, your own brand, even if it's just a simple landing page. You cannot grow your email list online without having a place where people can give you that information. So if right now you're not currently using a website and you're not sure if you really want to take it on and you've built a fine business for yourself and you're not quite ready to take on a website, yet I would say baby step into it by first creating a landing page. Create a place where people can go, they can learn a little bit more about you, they can join your email list, and you can give them an opt-in or a lead magnet, something that provides value to them in order to make that exchange. And then you can continue to communicate with them through email, which is another great source of a home court advantage. So I wouldn't say it's a hard and fast rule, though I will say that if you want to grow and be big, everyone needs a website. In the olden days, you wanted a brochure or a business card. Now people use websites to prove legitimacy and to get a look and feel of what it would look like to work with a different organization or individual. And I feel like today is no different when it comes to websites. People are often using websites as social proof. So if you're not ready yet, baby step into it. But if you do have a website, I'm going to encourage you to figure out how you can make it a 10. Just ask yourself a similar question. How is my website right now on maintaining a home court advantage on a scale from 1 to 10? And what could I do to make it 2 or 3 steps better? I have some other detailed trainings on this. If you'd like to go deeper, I will link those in the show notes below so that you have them, because we're not going to spend a ton of time right here. But if you have a question you'd like to send in to Pick My Brain, you can send it to Michelle@speakmichelle.com and put Pick My Brain in the subject line. You can also find me on social media on Instagram @SpeakMichelle and send me a direct message there. Until our next episode, thank you for sending in this question, and I wish you all the best in building out your online platform. I am so excited for today's episode. My dear friend and my personal fashion stylist, Paige Sorensen, is here. She not only styles me, bless her heart, she also styles CEOs, celebrities, and does big work for corporations and organizations that are getting ready for big meetings, and also styles movies, which is so fun. Paige, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Make It Happen.
That was such a beautiful intro. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to infuse your style, your personal style, personal brand into your professional clothing and the outfits that you wear. And you are the perfect person for this. So I'm so glad that you're here.
I'm so excited to have this conversation.
Before we dive into all of that, Let me ask you a question. I would love for you to share with our audience, like if you could summarize your personal fashion philosophy, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. I have really strong feelings on this.
I know
that. I feel like the world has kind of told us how to think about fashion, but I think on a deeper level, I feel like overall fashion is presented to us as very surface or vain or doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, whereas I see it slightly differently. I don't know how far back you want me to go, but I realized early on as a teenager that I could communicate with this tool of clothing almost more than verbally. And I'm really outgoing. I've always been really outgoing, very verbal, and great in social situations, but I really relied on communicating with my clothing and allowing my clothing to speak for me when I walk in a room and not having to say very much. And so I have built my career and my whole entire business around that principle of clothing is so much more. It's a communicator. It's a connector. It creates relationships. It can really express who you are. It can be wonderful and fun and playful. And so I feel like I'm communicating with people all the time as I'm out in public. I'm like, oh, I feel like I know that woman over there. She's wearing A, B, C, or D, and she's telling this story to me. And so fashion in general is a really powerful tool that you could use.
I absolutely agree. I've shared this before when Paige and I have done things together, but before I met Paige, I thought fashion was a list of rules because every stylist I had ever worked with, and I've paid a lot of money to different people to dress me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the work that I do is very public and I don't know how to put an outfit together. I put this outfit together by myself. So if it looks terrible, it is not Paige's.
It doesn't. No, I love this. This is your brand. T-shirts, blazer, bright accessories. I love it.
Yes,
you're right on brand.
Great. But beforehand, it was you have to wear this type of blazer and it has to be slimming. And if you're going to be in a professional environment, you have to have a heel and you have to have like there were all these rules that we had to follow. And then when I met you, it was like, well, what do you want to wear? And what's your personality? And let's make sure that's showing. And I was like, it's like a really big, deep sigh of relief and makes me feel so much more comfortable. And I remember Danielle Laporte saying to me once about clothing and what to wear on stage, because she was wearing something that on stage that kind of surprised me. Mm-hmm. And she said, it took me a long time to figure out that you have to wear clothes you feel comfortable in. But even then I didn't believe her because everything else that people were saying was totally different. So then I meet you and I marry those two things and I feel like I'm having the best closet of my life.
I was wondering.
And yet at the same time, like it's never enough because I was just thinking, adding up, coming here, I wear at least 12 different professional outfits in a month. So between the things I'm doing for clients, the things I do for the show, I'm putting 12 outfits together a month. And that is exhausting.
Oh, totally.
By the way, which I know other people don't have that same challenge. And so I'm not trying to push my drama onto others. But I would love for you to share with our audience whether people have 3 outfits that they need a month or if they're dressing every day for the office. What are your recommendations for people about how to put their personality into their wardrobe? What does that look like?
So great. And I feel like your concern or what you're addressing with multiple outfits, I feel like that's pretty average for everyone. I mean, especially in the business world, it's exhausting to get up every day and make decisions to be in the corporate world and feel like you're dressing yourself and you're showing up as you authentically. That's really hard, especially within the boundaries of corporate rules and all of that. And so, yeah, I want to jump into that. So there's some fun ways to infuse your personality in business professional. I find this so interesting. I feel like you'll find this interesting too. And maybe we've talked about this in the past, but the most Googled question about fashion regarding fashion has to do with how do I dress business professional? How do I do that? So that's really telling that there's this disconnect with everyone that it's like, I want to show up. I want to be professional. I want to be taken seriously, but I don't know how to do it. And it can cross over into maybe it's boring or bland or, there's all these, and plus finances. I mean, let's include that. That's really hard. You don't want to spend a ton of money when you can get quickly sick of your clothes and having to wear them over and over again. So what I'm trying to point out is I feel like this is a concern for lots of people. And so I have 3 tips. We'll start with the women. Does that work?
Yeah,
3
for
tips
sure.
for women, 3 tips for men. Okay. So my first tip for females is blazers. Let's talk about blazers. I feel like you and I have talked about blazers.
Don't have enough.
Yeah. I've been getting messages lately on my social media about blazers. How do I wear them? What's actually in? What's trending? What's the style? And, all of this. And so in general, right now, blazers are super hot ticket item for women. And I would say right now it's really hot to wear oversized double-breasted blazers, which is kind of a stretch because it's totally drawing on the 80s. So that could be a little tricky for all of us. But what I like to say to everyone is look at the blazer as the new cardigan. We all rely on the cardigan. It's comfortable. It adds a layer. You've got the coverage you need. Like the cardigan is just like so safe and wonderful. Rely on the blazer like a cardigan. You could throw a blazer on anything, any outfit, with a graphic t-shirt or with a dress, with tennis shoes, with heels. I mean, it's just so universal. And so rely on the blazer and also get playful with your blazers. I love that you're wearing this one, that it's not a solid, although I do love your yellow and your green solid blazers. But get playful with your blazers. They can be printed. You can add color. You can just have a lot of fun with that. And so we've been taught in the past that our blazers need to be like black or navy and just really like structured and almost boring. I have those, don't get me wrong, but I think it's time to break out of that. I feel like business professional clothing has really changed in the last few years, that we can start to have a little bit of fun with this and show our personality. So that's my first tip. My second tip, you're the perfect example today, accessories. I often get messages from females that it's like, I'm a cosmetologist or I'm a hairstylist and I can really only wear all black. And so that really kind of shuts down your personality and how you can express yourself. But accessories can say so much about you and can really bring you joy. And I love that you're wearing your colorful earrings. I wear these just for Michelle today because this is kind of her MO, if you've noticed. But earrings, shoes, even nails. If you're a necklace lady or a bracelet lady, you can really add some fun pops and personality with accessories. If you really think about it and you know what you're wanting to do. If you're like, today's such a drag and I have to wear all black. Well, maybe I'll throw on some pink earrings or some red heart earrings just to mix it up and have a little bit of fun today at work. So there's that tip.
I love my charm necklace.
I love your charm necklace so much.
Speaking of the 80s, total plastic charms. But it's interesting because I am drawn to that on the days that I feel the least myself.
Oh, interesting.
Or I'm feeling blah, or I just move. And it's so funny that I grab the thing that is like the loudest in my closet. And yet at the same time, I know subconsciously that's just me saying, no, I'm still going to be me. I may feel a little bit out of sorts or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to communicate fun in life, even if it can't come from my mouth or something else.
It's also a really good therapy tool, like what you're saying. My husband has to wear dress clothes every day, a dress shirt and a tie. And a lot of times when he's having like a meh day, we'll intentionally put an outfit together so he feels confident, comfortable, and he can rely on it. But specifically with your necklace, it's a conversation piece. So you know that you can rely on people reacting to that and engaging in you and not having to carry the conversation at all times, not knowing what's coming at you. So I feel like it's a really good therapy tool when you wear your necklace. Yeah.
Okay, so blazers and accessories. Yes. What's number 3?
My last tip for females is being intentional. We don't talk about this enough, especially in the business world. But there's so many dress codes or rules placed upon us if we're wanting to be professional. Just for a few in the professional realm, a lot of times corporations have like closed-toed shoes is required, or no tank tops, or, there's all these like small stipulations that differ from business to business, which then kind of puts us in a box. And then it's like, I know how I should be dressing, or we feel like we know what they want us to wear. So it can get really confusing and kind of in the gray area. And so if you are intentional with who you are you right now? What do you like? What are you passionate about? What brings you joy? What colors do you love? Like really figuring out who you are and being intentional. So if you're having like a meh week, like we've been talking about, and you have a lot of business meetings or whatever that week, you can really just sit for a minute and think, who am I? What do I like? And what do I want to express? And be intentional about your outfit that day for work. And it will raise your joy levels. It really will, because you've put thought into it and you're not defaulting to, I'll wear gray, black, navy, browns, which we all fall into. in the professional world. So I feel like intentional can kind of shake up your routine and get you out of that rut and help you communicate who you are at work.
I like it.
Yeah.
So if that's what you suggest for women, is it different for men?
Yes, it's so different for men. I mean, all of those can apply. They cross for sure, and they're applicable to all genders. But for men, let's talk about men. I've actually been really fixated on men professional dress lately and how there's so many fun options right now. It's really exciting. So the first one is, I was trying to avoid the basics, but I want to talk about this because I feel like it's a little bit more simple than what we give credit to. When it comes to men, a tailored suit. And by a tailored suit, I mean less material than probably what you're wearing. And so, and it's so much easier. A lot of times I'll be talking to people and they'll be like, tailor is just like another step. It costs more money. It's so difficult to achieve a tailored suit. But this is how it's so easy. If you order a suit off Amazon, let's just go super cheap here, like a suit for $100 off Amazon. You can take that suit, obviously go to a tailor, or you could walk into Nordstrom's Rack, who does tailoring for any suit. You don't have to buy it there. They'll measure everything and have it tailored within the week, and that's $20. So every man has access to getting a tailored suit. Specifically, if your pants are too long, I would highly recommend getting it tailored and hemmed up. And so it's not this like huge monumental thing that you have to push through like it used to be. It feels very achievable for everyone to do. So
people often mistake tailor for custom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, custom is wonderful, but that's also really expensive. Right. So you could definitely tailor something off the rack or something you buy online to fit your body a little bit better, which will then translate, I'm not drowning in this suit, or this suit was made for me. I mean, there's so many messages that it does. So sure, you'll feel more confident if you get your suit tailored. Okay. My second tip is super random. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I'm super excited. Collar stays. Are you a believer in collar stays?
I know you are. I love it. Go share.
Yeah. So definitely get yourself some collar stays. And they come in a wide range of like plastic to metal to magnetic. I mean, you can do whatever range you want, but they really take a professional outfit up a notch. And you probably aren't even noticing, but I could walk around and tell you every man that is wearing collar stays. Granted, it's my job, but I just feel like it just helps with the crisp collar and maybe less ironing even, and simplifies your life. So you need collar stays for sure.
That's just a quick little up level.
Yep.
Doesn't take a lot,
super
but can mean a big difference.
And it's cheap.
Like rolled the collars that are like rolling under.
And like, bless their hearts, the collars that are like lumpy because they've just like been washed too many times. Yeah, we don't need that. And with that, this is a bonus tip. I have found the greatest men's dress shirts. They're on Amazon. We should put the link in. I can send you the link. But it's like this new age fabric it's almost like this, where it's like spandexy, it's breathable, it doesn't wrinkle, it's fitted. It's the greatest travel men's dress shirt, and I feel like every man needs them. So we'll add that in.
We'll add it to the show notes.
Yeah, I feel like I have so many bonus tips for the men out there. So my third tip, it is so important. Shoes. I feel like we need to discuss shoes. And the reason why is because if you have on, I feel like shoes could make or break your outfit. If you have on like a really great outfit and some kind of crappy dress shoes, that really takes a toll on your outfit. If you have on a crappy outfit and some killer shoes, that takes your outfit up. So for whatever reason, right now in time, shoes are like where it's at for men. And I'm not saying you have to go spend a ton of money, but shoes can really just, it just makes everything better if you have some good men's shoes. So every man needs brown men's shoes right now, dress shoes. And I feel like everything you own in your closet, whatever it is, whatever color, whatever prints, brown shoes and a brown belt go with everything. Super universal. And then another tip that I have with men's shoes is I always check to see if they're heavy. Like a lot of times really good quality shoes are like super heavy, but you don't need to be buying the heavy shoes. You should be looking for like lightweight shoes that won't pull you down for the day, or like, I guess what I'm saying is comfort is a really big deal. So allow comfort to lead you as you're picking your shoes, but also style. So just look around, be observant, look around when you're in your next meeting and see, oh, I really like those shoes. ask that person, get that information. Where'd you get those shoes? So men's shoes are really super important right now.
Okay, I love these tips. One of my favorite parts about you is that you believe that fashion doesn't have to be expensive. So what kind of tips do you have for people who are watching and our audience that are saying, what do I do? How do I start without spending a ton of money?
Especially with men's fashion, I feel like we can get caught in the trap of if it's not expensive, it's not great. When obviously I totally love quality, but you can find quality in a lot of places and affordably. So one thing that comes to my mind is men's ties. On the rack, in department stores, men's ties are really expensive. You can find those same exact ties online and you get them in bulk. So a lot of ties come 3 to 5 packages with multiple prints and they're usually $20 to $30. So save yourself some money there if you look online. I'm a big thrifter. You know this. Every CEO or person on stage that I'm dressing, I always start at thrift stores. And the reason why is because large corporations and businesses are donating pallets to thrift stores. And so it's brand new stuff. Last week I found brand new Zara dresses on the rack at a thrift store for $8. Whereas normally at Zara, they would be $70 to $80. And so really rely, especially if you're financially needing to just be really frugal, always start at thrift stores. And you can find, blazers, the blazers you can find at thrift stores, amazing. I feel like you and I have scored some and it's just really fun, but I enjoy that hunt. So if that's a little bit torturous for you, I totally get it. But there are good ways to save money at thrift stores with professional clothing. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this? How we've done this over the years?
No, I just recently found, and I'll just share this, but like a consignment place. Have I talked to you about Pre-Loved?
No.
So there's this, I can't believe that we're talking about this for the first time on television, but so there's this store called Pre-Loved and it's in Provo where I live, and you can rent a booth for a week or 2 weeks or however many you want, and you can put up clothing and it's consignment. So they take a percentage of what you sell.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about that for me is I just did it for a couple of weeks. I was able to sell a number of pieces, but then I could take that money and go do thrifting. And like I talked about at the beginning, I feel like I'm churning outfits so often because they're very public and I can't wear the same things to the same places over and over again. And so it was just been a really great thing for me. And I don't have to have a booth there all the time. I did it for a couple of weeks and I took some of the stuff home. And as I'm getting more things, I'm putting them in that pile. And yes, I donate and I do a lot of things that way too, but it was nice to do that. But then I also could shop.
Yeah.
So I could shop there with what other people were getting rid of. And in some cases it was trading. I mean, I made some money and then spent some money, but
Got it.
But I like that option. Anything that you can do, especially because I don't think it has to be expensive. When they're expensive, I feel like I want to keep them longer than they're fashionable.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And not that trends have to go, but there are some pieces in my closet that I've had for 10 years that I can't get rid of because I spent $200 on them.
Yeah.
And then if there are pieces that I get from a thrift store for $5, I can wear them 4 or 5 times and I can donate them again. And I feel really great about that,
Totally. Love that. Love that process. I can't believe you did that booth without me.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I'm the worst friend.
No,
it was over
you're
Christmas break. It was kind of busy. Anyway, another time. But you also teach this in a course now,
I do,
which I love because Paige is getting so busy and she has courses that are available. So if you want to learn how to thrift or if you want to learn about fashion styling, take a minute and tell a little bit about what courses you have available online right now.
Yeah.
And we'll link them down below so you can click on them too. But
great. That would be awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I recently launched a fashion academy. I've noticed this disconnect with fashion. I have youth coming up to me all the time that are like, where should I go learn or where should I go to school or how should I get better style? And I just feel like there's this large gap of spending $50,000 to $100,000 for fashion school and nothing and YouTube. That's our realm. So I launched a fashion academy where I've got 6 different courses right now, but I'm hoping to roll out some more where you can figure out your own style. I take you through basically what I've done with Michelle in her closet. It's a private session where I would take you through and figure out your own style right now and then how to thrift. I feel like the skills of thrifting is incredible and it can hit all different angles of your life. So it's not just about saving money. And I've got a confidence one for adults and a confidence one for teens. And I try and keep it fun. And I'm trying to connect with the youth of the world that are struggling with everything that's coming at them, and maybe give them a few tools that will help them to survive daily and maybe even thrive. And so anyway, courses have been fun. Check them out. They're cool.
I walked into the room a few minutes later after my kids had watched that.
Oh my gosh.
And I walked into the room after they finished watching your course, and my daughter had her little notebook out, and she wrote affirmations at the top and had written out 10 different affirmations on everything from like, I'm good at basketball to I'm happy and fun. And I was like, oh, I love Paige so much, because I can say all the same things to my kids, and because I believe all of it, but they want to hear it from someone else sometimes, or out of the mouth of 2 or 3, right? Yes. So I can say it, but then you can say it, and they love you and think you're cool. And they're like, oh, well, Paige said it, so I believe it now.
No, I totally get that. That's so funny. What a full circle moment, because over the years, through the training that I've taken through your courses and your events and retreats and everything, you've taught me so much of that. So I was thinking about your kids watching it and thinking, gosh, this is so interesting that we're sharing with our children. I love it so much. So, anyway.
But I love it. And I think it's great because it's so tricky to be everywhere and to do everything, but I think courses are a great way. So if you're interested in any of those, check them out from down below. But before we wrap, I would love for you to share, like, what are the things that are lighting you up in the fashion world right now? What is getting you excited? Or do you have any other last bit of advice that you would give to our audience?
Yes. Color in general is lighting me up. I cannot get enough color. I'm in a phase right now where I'm like, let me infuse some more color. And I know that's not for everyone, but for me, color just brings me so much joy. And with that, color coordinating your closet. I feel like every person can just take control of their closet real estate and color coordinate their closet, and like be so excited to walk into it and maybe have something greet you that's happy and switch your mood for the day or set a really good tone for the day. So I believe deeply in color coordinating.
Tell them what you mean. What does color coordinating mean?
In
your closet? Like, what should you, like, if somebody's watching or listening, what should they go home and do to their closet right now?
Oh my gosh. Stop this right now and go into your closet and just put like all your colors together. It doesn't even need to be in a specific order. The way I organize my closet is I know a lot of people separate out seasons. But I believe in having it all right there so I can see it. So I've got all my seasons together, and I'll put all my yellows and my pinks and my reds and my stripes together. And lots of times I'll switch them up. If I feel like I'm getting a little stagnant, I'll switch the order. But I love knowing that I've got like blocks of color in my closet. And it simplifies my life too, because let's say the weather is sunny out and I'm dying to wear green that day. I go from making decisions of like 200 decisions of pieces of clothing down to 8 pieces that I get to decide from. And it just simplifies my day and brings me joy. So I highly recommend color coordinating your closet. I'm a big believer in that.
I didn't mean to derail you.
No,
so
you're
keep
totally
going.
fine.
Final tips.
Well, for men, let me jump back to men really quickly. I probably should have said socks and ties are a great way to show your personality. So hone in on what you like. Are you loving floral, plaids? Do you like to mix things? Socks are a really great way. I feel like I connect to professional men a lot through their socks. And so when someone has some, even just a cool pattern, it doesn't need to be anything crazy like cactuses or flamingos, but kind of hone in on what you like there and really, really like I feel like socks and ties can brighten your whole day. So I meant to say that about the men. Let's see, what else brings me joy with clothing? I'm loving our time period right now. I know it's stressing a lot of adults out because it's like the 90s are back, the 80s are back, like everything's back. However, I'm loving watching the youth create their own vibe, mixing all of it together. So when we're out and about, I'm constantly just observing and like soaking in what everyone's wearing, and it's really fun. I mean, that breathes a lot of excitement into my life. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think that you have taken a task that is daily for me, and sometimes multiple times a day if I'm switching outfits, but a task that I hated and dreaded into something that I enjoy. And I wouldn't say I love it yet
That's okay.
because it's still hard for me to look at anything and go, what looks good or whatever, but it's so much easier and I enjoy it more because I'm doing it for me rather than doing it for the world. And I think that has been really great. So thank you so much. And thank you for being on Make It Happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been fun.
Okay, it is now time for a few of my favorite things. And I am excited to share a couple things with you that I am shocked. Can we be real honest? For me to come up with 3 of my favorite things every time I do this, that's a lot of favorite things. And I have a lot of passions. But when I figured out that I had not shared these 2 things with you, I was shocked at myself. So I need to tell you about the Avia Active Comfort socks. You just get these at Walmart or on the World Wide Web. There's nothing super fancy about them except that I love that they have a cushioned sole, which is, it just feels so soft and warm. And I know that there's a place in the world for thin socks, but in the winter when I hate to wear socks anyway, I always buy these. I've bought multiple different pairs over the years or sets. They come out with new colors every year, but they feel like a hoodie for your feet. Okay, just warms them up really fast without being too bulky. People sometimes wear those boot socks that are super fuzzy or even fuzzy socks. I've never really been a big fuzzy sock person. If you've given me fuzzy socks as a gift, please don't be offended that I just told you this. But these socks are my favorite. Again, they're Avia cushion sole, they're active comfort, and they are fantastic, okay? Next one I need to tell you about is Bliss Nut Butters. My friend Ashley told me about these, and I get them from a small business in Oregon, which I love. I buy 4 jars at a time so I can pay for free shipping. But I'm also on their list. So from time to time, there is a sale or a deal that goes on for special holidays or weekends, which I love. But they have a number of different nut butters. So it's not just peanut butter. This one is a peanut butter with chia seeds. It's a hint sweet, and I love that. And it just feels like more than regular peanut butter. And I eat it on apples. I put it on bananas. I just love this nut butter. They also have cashew butter and sunflower butter and a few others as well. So if you are looking for a butter alternative that's not peanuts, she has others that are there. She also just has a plain creamy peanut butter that doesn't have any other pieces in it. So if you're just looking for something that's fresh, has good ingredients, whether for snacking or sandwich needs, I highly recommend Bliss Nut Butters. And I will put a link in the show notes below for both of these things. The last thing that I was going to share with you is right now I am on a hunt for the best tacos in the country, okay? I live in a town called Provo, Utah. My favorite tacos are 180 Tacos and Red Tacos, 2 entirely different tacos. 180 Tacos is kind of like American style tacos, and they throw a few other things in there, which I like. Their buffalo taco is my favorite. Red Tacos tends to get a little bit more authentic, if you will. And they're like the quesabira tacos, if you've ever heard of that. I'm sure I'm saying them wrong, but they are almost fried tacos with meat and cheese on the inside, and then you dip them in sauce. So amazing. So what I'd like for you to do, because you may not live in my town and you probably don't, I want you to share with me your favorite tacos. And I'm going to do a little taco roundup. I'm not going to get to all of them, though someday I may or might, but I'm going to make a list of my favorite tacos everywhere. And I would love for you to be part of that. So if you will share in the comments your favorite tacos or even a link to your favorite taco shop or stand or truck, we're going to make a list of the best tacos in the land, because I kind of feel like tacos are life. These are my favorite things, and I'm so glad that you're here. Let me know if you find a favorite thing of mine that becomes a favorite thing of yours, because I'd love to share in that. And until next time, here are just a few of mine. So what's your next step? If you took some of Paige's advice today, what would your next step be to get your fashion to the way that brings you joy and helps you to feel more fulfilled in how you're expressing yourself every single day? I would love to hear what you're going to be doing. Please share it in the comments below. I'd also love and honor any rating or review that you could provide so that we can share them with others, so that we can find new people to find the show. As always, we thank you for giving us all these minutes in your day, whether you're listening while you're doing something else or watching us on YouTube. Thank you for being part of the Make It Happen community. We will see you next week.